That heifer right there just don't even care.
Straighten yourself out.
Action. Look, we're on TV.
Yeah.
Should have had all that together. I told Keith Stillman early on I was working on technical difficulties, and we ain't even no more said, "Hey, everybody."
You know what technical difficulties he was working on? Trying to find a comfortable spot in that recliner is what he was working on.
It's hard to find one too.
Yeah.
Other than our fuss going on here behind the scenes, hope everybody's having a fine evening.
I hope y'all think that's a real fuss. Man.
I was having one. I told her I was going to try not to have one, but if the subject is brought up, I'm going to have one.
You also said you wouldn't bring it up.
Well, I didn't say what the subject was, but here we are. Chat's quick.
Oh, here we are.
Anyway, like I said, hope everybody's having a fine Sunday.
We do.
We finally got it to where everything worked out. We could get into the Lord's house with our people this morning.
Fun.
And
it was
much
a good
needed.
day.
Yep. We ate good. We got the crawfish. What was I calling it?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Crawfish soup. Soup. Hey. H-E-Y.
Joey, I really appreciate it if you'd weigh in on this one.
Well, I was working on my French.
He said you young ones behave.
But we got the crawfish soup made up. We got a video for y'all coming out.
Please help, Joey.
On that. And we're willing. Our other video will be posting tomorrow.
Whatever video.
Kaboom.
Oh.
Yes. Because it's supposed to quit raining tomorrow. Ever since the storm, which we did good, y'all. Thank y'all. We'll start off for that. Honestly, all joking aside, appreciate everybody calling, texting, email,
Yeah.
the book of faces,
Feel loved.
everything, very, very much. And we didn't have really no issues. We got some much needed rain around here. I slept through it. I don't know how, but I slept right on through what bad stuff we was going to get. And I woke up to be surprised whenever I looked out in the yard. I was expecting twigs everywhere, acorns on the ground.
Really? God had mercy on us
He did.
through that.
But at the same time, we're grateful to hear,
Everybody else was good.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of people was worried about. Mike, Joey, Mr. Ed,
Randy and them down there.
the famous Mr. Mike Berry.
Yep. Most all y'all down there on that coast. Yeah, talked to Lee a couple times, or text with Lee a couple times. But yeah, thank y'all again, and I know everybody on the other end appreciates it too. So thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
But where was I going with that?
Mm-hmm. You didn't tell me.
I know derailed already. Didn't take long.
Nope. Didn't take long.
But that was church, getting back with everybody. We finally got
To go to church.
Yes. Got a day where either side of our family wasn't having a moment we needed to go work them through, or everyday, day-to-day stuff, finally.
Yeah.
But we ate good crawfish. That's what it was. We was on the crawfish deal. We ate good. Had good service, like I say. Then we come home, and I was lazy after that. She kept telling me, don't fall asleep. It's getting too late.
I hope you think I'm going to lie by myself.
I'm one of them that I can't take a 30-minute nap. Used to, I couldn't take a nap at all. And for whatever reason, the last couple of years, yeah, I ain't got no problem taking a nap now. But I take hours.
I was like,
long.
but his problem now is waking up from a nap. He just wants to sleep straight through.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, indeed they are, Carl. We got a belly full on that. And any of y'all want to try that recipe out, you'll definitely go back for another bowl, that's for sure. Say I'm full. And the good part about it, the next day, if you can hold off, wait till the next day, because then it's even better the next day. If not, get you a bowl whenever you get ready. But
we gotta finish putting that video together, and then it'll take 8 hours to load.
what's this?
Go from there.
Is DC in here yet?
They just
All right, DC, I got a question before we get it into a whole bunch. If I'm wrong, y'all, let me know who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was DC that started this whole first game. All right, comment first.
Some rules, DC.
What are the rules? Does it officially count if you put first with the smiley face, or if you're the first one to comment in the comment section, whether you say first or not? All right, got confirmation.
Ground rules, Dave.
Well, that way we can figure out what the rules are.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one.
Ground rules.
It can just be one rule. I wasn't Lee.
Well, perfect timing, Lee.
Let me
He
see.
just came in.
Whoever started first. Where's the rules lie? Do you have to say first, or is it your first comment? Till then, I'm gonna go holler at everybody. Reason I was saying because
Miss Leona beat everybody. No.
she did. But yes, some Hallelujah Beef Farmers birthday in here. Keith Spillman right behind them. Mr. Michael Tangway. Todd says he's cooking. Gonna be commenting though.
We got all kind of ladies. There's Sarah Burt, Happy Sarah, Miss Kimberly, Miss Jan, and Miss Leona all in here already.
We good deal, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who we got. Ed here, son of
Mr. Mike.
Mr. Mike Conlon. Russell Heyman. Let's see. Miss Kimberly, you said her?
Randy.
Get Randy Tar Heel.
One of the many Randys. There's a lot of Randys and there's a lot of Mikes. Carl and Haley came in.
Darren, good to see you, Captain. Roy, good to see you back.
There was somebody else. Joey. Me again, Joey.
Again, Joey.
And Mr. Mark. He came in.
We got a good little crowd moseyed on in here pretty quick. Y'all must be real bored tonight.
Oh, Grayson. Let's see who else came in.
Good to see you, bud. Little Vincent, he running around with him too. Who else? Tom.
Yeah, and I was wrong.
Lee.
You skipped right over Lee.
I didn't. No, I said Lee. I said Lee Lowe. Richard, good to see you. Matt.
Liz. What's that fancy word?
I don't have Lee.
Only one Lee.
And let's see.
Being what you call it.
Facetious.
No, he said to be or not to be first. Not poetic, the other word. I can't
Sarcastic.
think of it. I'm sure there was some sarcasm in there.
Yeah.
I'll think of it in 5 minutes.
Brian Baker Bees, Illuminate.
We don't know what we're talking about, Nate. We never do.
No, we're just carrying on right now. We ain't got into no subject yet. But
No, we're just kind of. He was rambling about our day.
Yes.
who's Brian Baker Beats that always like wants the cooking videos?
I think so.
Him or the other Brian?
But for the ones of you,
Hey, Haley. I thought you was in here. Sorry, she just
you
told me.
say hey to
I
my
didn't
baby.
mean to
Yeah,
cut you off though.
that's it.
I just saw it.
Okay.
It's like, hey, girl.
But for the ones of you that just got in here, got the crawfish video finally made, got to put it together, and we'll be sending it to you out hopefully in the next day or two. For the ones of you that like the, what DC call you, what you should call it, Hannah's down home kitchen.
Down home kitchen time.
There you go.
Look, yeah, Brian. That was the right Brian I was thinking about. We should have that video up tomorrow. Laura will.
Mr. J.W.
He said he'll claim last.
Yeah.
What he said, if everybody will hold back, I'll claim last.
Hey, the man is a sport.
He is.
Yes. I want to be on his team.
Mm-hmm. And Matt said he's smelling goldenrod in the apiary today.
Ooh, I heard that. Lee, there ain't no bowls left, Bubba. It's gone.
It's gone.
We went to church and everybody coming up, oh, Miss Hannah, I love that crawfish, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we still don't know what it's called.
Mm-hmm. And the buttermilk pies. Them buttermilk pies was gone before we even said the blessing, for the most part.
With
Gone. Everybody getting that piece. But not seeing much for our goldenrod.
no, not goldenrod, but I swear there's spider lilies coming up in the daisy bed.
Yep.
But it's just a flower.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no plants with it yet.
No. Yep. Yeah, we're starting to see our spider lilies, and I had no idea until somebody put this on the book of faces, but undoubtedly they're also known down here as hurricane lilies. And they, from what I was reading, they come up right after hurricanes or literally right before a hurricane, something along those lines. They pop out of the ground. But the scientific deal on it is that once you see the spider lilies coming up, the rainy season is right down the road. So
It's been the rainy season all summer here.
but I've always looked at the spider lily as
Fall's
fall.
coming.
Yeah, that's our sign of okay, it's
Yeah.
knocking on the door.
Look for the weather to turn. Like the spider lilies tell us when to look for the goldenrod to start blooming.
But we don't have nowhere near it don't seem like what we had last year as far as goldenrod showing. But it ain't. I cut some stalks down out of one of our little flower beds out here earlier in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
They had got up about 3 feet tall, and I was like, no, I want to get the flower bed cleaned out, blah, blah, blah. So I chopped them dudes down, and now they're about 4 foot tall again. So I was like, whatever. Y'all gonna live out there, then do what you do. But those little handful that are out there in the flower bed, they're putting off the cluster 2 flower. They're still real green, so we're not seeing any colors yet. So maybe next couple weeks we may start seeing them opening on up down here. But the way a lot of y'all talking in the North Country, y'all kind of starting to be in the middle or seeing the end of it. That's gradually, like everybody said, nosy on this way.
I like that hillbilly spelling, Mr. Mike.
What's he doing?
I think he's cooking teriyaki chicken.
That was good.
You did good, Mr. Mike.
Yes. We know what you're saying.
That's
We know what
funny.
you're saying.
Mr. Roy said, I just watch how many layers my wife puts on, then that's 6 weeks to winter. Yeah.
We've all got our signs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DC, the swarms did stay. We just hadn't had any kind of time to do a video at all. The
But
one stayed. That one's dwindling down. Like they don't have a queen. I think they killed their queen.
the little bitty swarm,
Yeah.
they pretty well just let them girls live out their days. I went and stuck him a few peppermints in yesterday morning, I think it was. Threw a bunch of peppermint candy into the big swarm, and tomorrow we're gonna be, I guess, babysit one of the nephews for a little while, and me and him gonna get in there and make
It's gonna
pollen
be
patties,
all
and
day with him.
he's gonna be making pollen patties with peppermint candy in them tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Go on that big swarm out there. Anxious to try the pollen additive, I guess, or with the apis. See how it goes with the pollen. Now we've done it last 2 years with what you mix into sugar water and had good results off of that. So we're gonna run them both and see how that colony does.
Mm-hmm.
Lord willing, they'll make it. We'll split off them when springtime gets around. Which, really think about it, it won't be long. We more than halfway through the year, so another really 5 months for us. We'll start working on spring again in February.
Well, we didn't get very far.
No,
Did you watch Bob Benny's video this morning?
yes, I did. Yes, I
Philip
did.
said, I think DC needs to come in and explain. Can I get an amen?
I'll give you an amen on that because that was my moment.
That I was trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm. I just
It wasn't nothing to do with Mr. Benny at all. He
No.
got a little put out in the comments section.
a little bit. I got
A
a
little.
little aggravated. We'll say not far as just anger. Let me note this. Nothing about Mr. Bob Benny. Absolutely nothing about that fella Tim that he did
Mhm.
video with.
Nothing to do with the video.
No.
It was some of the comments that got him fired up.
Yes, I'm sitting here going, "Oh my gosh, y'all!" Oh,
They don't need to scream.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
They can- Some of them wearing headphones.
yeah. Y'all may have your big TV turned on. I'm sorry about that, but I'm thinking we have been through this and been through this, and we have talked about this and talked about this. But once again,
It was interesting. He's not fired up with you. He just,
oh no,
I mean, y'all
no,
know Tim by now. He just is like, it shouldn't be that complicated, I
no,
guess.
no.
It doesn't have to be as complicated as people make it.
No, I seen people talking about removing their grass, and that stopped them. Take them out of the sun, that stopped them.
No worries, DC. We appreciate it. I mean, it's an interesting. It was an interesting video,
Oh yeah,
but just like people.
I had emotional
So,
damage. Some of y'all
He
know that.
did have emotional damage from reading them comments.
I mean, people talking about changing their pH, and I put a 10 foot by 10 foot square of carpet down, and that was the miracle, and it got it. We're like, people want the science, and the science has already proven they'll crawl 300 yards to get to where they're going. A 10 foot by 10 foot anything ain't going to stop them water.
Time out.
Okay.
Todd, that's going to make them undercover security guards follow you around big time. I can testify to that.
So I hear you, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir.
They will follow you around.
All right, we'll get on that one at the end. Y'all remind me about Walmart security.
Y'all please
Don't
don't
forget.
remind me.
Remind me. 'Cause y'all
Moving
enjoy
on.
it. But anyway, that's what it was. Because I told Hannah, I said, I wonder if it's going to be brought up. And
But I mean, DC's just trying to help folks out.
I mean, I know I'm not
He's
picking on.
not going
I
off on
promise.
you, DC. This is
No,
the mild version of what I listen to.
y'all know how it is. We'll just speak for ourselves. We try things and we know that it works. Okay. If people have a question about it, we're more than happy to tell you what has worked for us and is working for us. Whether that's feeding, beetles, boxes, horizontal, what our experiences are, we'd be happy to share. Now, it is up to the individual to take what has been given to them in information and apply that in their yard to find out, does this work for me or does it not work for me? Instead of saying, well, last year I had 3 hive beetles and it was disastrous. It's one of them. I'm not hearing that. Whenever you have a 300 or 400 in your colony and say that was disastrous, then you got my attention because I can sympathize with you on that. But empathize, all of it. See, it's got me worked up. But I just told her, I said, I don't know how to explain or put it than to try what works for you. If that doesn't work, if somebody gives you advice, it's up to you to take the advice. Then if it works, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Mosey on to the next plant. Just like the ones of you that deal with MEMs, you know what I'm saying? Same way. But
That's what we were thinking, Mr. Mark. He said, careful what you lay on the ground under your hives. It can make for the perfect place for the beetle larvae to pupate.
mhm.
Mike Berry needs to make a disclaimer for your chat.
This is how we say
It wasn't Mike Berry's video. It was Bob Benny.
it was Mr. Bob Benny video, but I think you're saying that, this is how I do
Oh,
and not a how to.
I know,
But-
Ed. That'll make you sick. And he lost another hive to wax moths. He was saying, that's been his problem this year. He can't stand the damage they cause.
Oh, it's aggravating.
I mean, they all just full of destruction.
Oh, yeah. Besides
All the pests.
the cocoons, then you got them where they bore into your frames and your boxes and digging them things out. I will say, get you some good chickens, and they'll help you on that end whenever that cleanup has to be done. Ours do anyway. But you want to get into the prayer list, or I go to ranting too much?
Yeah. All right, I was ready to comment.
But y'all,
Deep breath.
yes, I'll
Reset.
get on the serious note for a second. If there's anybody we need to add to, take away from, let us know, and we'll surely do it because there's several of you in need. Yes.
All right, we got Mr. Mark, Ed and his family, but especially him and his wife. Mr. Pat, the Dirt Rooster's dad, Miss Deb, Grammy Lisa, her son, 2 granddaughters, and an unspoken request. Bob and his family, Tom's wife, his mother-in-law, and he is going in. I think he said he had to be at the hospital at 6 in the morning. He's having his knee surgery tomorrow, so y'all definitely remember him tomorrow. Mr. Donnie, Mike Tangway and his family, DC's grandparents, David Hoskins' little granddaughter Emma, baby Luca, and the family that lost their little one. Deanna Wheeler, her son Reed, Rachel Wilson, Rachel's sister Amanda, and her niece Riley, and then Philip's mama, his friend DJ and his wife, the Jennifer Brown family, Bobby Speeds and his family, Minnesota Mike and his brother Dave, Aaron Frederick, Mr. Larry and Miss Sherry Gandy, and Mr. Larry's mom, Keith Larimore, Hillbilly Earl, the Paris family, Icy Mountain Honey, Sandy's young family member, Bruce with his B's granddaughter, Unsong, Steve Amos's brother and mother-in-law, Spanky, Israel and all those affected by the war, all the storm victims, and they were talking in the chat. I just seen it on the weather, but I think tomorrow or one day this week, there's supposed to be like a pretty good tropical storm hit the Carolinas. Hit Keith and Pastor Larry and them. Because they said earlier they were looking at some bad weather coming in with that. Jags Farms' wife, Sean Balturse's wife, Mr. Ron, and that's one of Blaine's bee yard owners, PJ Hanley, Stafford Mike, Shabu, Ricky Rourke, 29 Homestead, mine and Tim's family, Grammy Lisa's friend Lime, Catherine's son and his family, Sarah and her family, Sarah's Happy Hive, Sarah, the Leonard family, Randy's mother-in-law, Cece's Texas Garden, Hillbilly Earl's mama, Miss Vivian, and we talked to him a couple days ago, and he said she's still in the hospital. So y'all, please continue to pray for her. Philip's mother-in-law's sister, Miss Wood, our favorite Miss Leona, Terry Chapman and his family, and then the new addition this week was y'all. I think most of y'all have seen Kenneth Wilkinson in the chats here lately, but Kenneth and his son Chris are both really, really sick right now. So Sarah texted me today and said they really needed some prayers. So
And we need to add this one. Y'all, was glad to see Vincent. Let me go back here. Brother, forgive me. There's a chance I'm going to butcher your last name, but I honestly don't mean to. But where in the world we go? Y'all bear with me a second. I can find this comment in here. Okay. How do you say his last name?
Vincent Kalunga.
All right. If we said it wrong, brother, we apologize. But putting that back up, Vincent is.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to write him down, but it was his son.
Yeah. Vincent is the daddy of Ephraim, the one that was burned, and they're down in South Africa. Hillbilly Earl sent us a text message, said if there's anything, we're trying to do a little GoFundMe and get them up to, I think it was around $500 to help them down there with medical bills. And undoubtedly, that can go a long way down there. And Vincent, we appreciate you coming in. Hope the little fella's doing fine or getting better. But the last time we looked at his GoFundMe, we was about, I think it was about $45 shy of the $500 mark.
Mm-hmm.
But whether we reach the goal or that's just what it is right there, we're going to pray that money goes to good use and helps that little fella recover and be able to help you out there with your bees down in South Africa over that way. But I did notice many of y'all on the Book of Faces was friends with Vincent here, and that's why we just kind of said, okay, undoubtedly there's a bunch of you that know this man and things are on the up and up. Earl's comfortable with it, and so absolutely happy to be able to help out in any way we can. So
It's really good to see y'all in here tonight.
yes, and hope y'all bees are doing well down there. And like I say, Lord willing, y'all can get back on your feet before too long and get back to your day to day living.
Right now, I'll watch you.
Well, I was supposed to go back to that. DC was talking about his stepdad's cancer numbers going down. And
Oh, that's good news.
Ed's,
I'm reading.
okay.
I'm writing his wife's out. Brian, I wrote down yours. The Terry Bertland. I don't want to butcher that either.
But while she's doing that, what was the
He said when someone says wax moth won't attack honeycomb that never had brood in it, just walk away.
that's the way I felt earlier today. Just,
Amen to that, Nate.
come on, y'all. Somebody listen, please. But all right, for the history buffs out there, what was it called? What was the hour whenever, Kennedy almost hit the button for to send the right down there just to South Florida, the missile crisis going on down there. Y'all's about that far from seeing it here tonight. Because Spanky at Filament Corner, he mailed one of the dragon's breath peppers. It was supposed to be in here yesterday, but the United Postal Service decided to just get it here when they can. And which I'm kind of glad because that gives me one more week to prepare myself for whatever I'm fixing to get into with this thing. But there we go.
So there was another student who attempted President Trump.
Yeah, I seen that on the fake news. I'm not saying that's not fake, but y'all know what I mean. Yeah. But
well, there's Jack and Danae. I was wondering what happened to y'all.
good seeing y'all.
Yeah.
All right, we went through the fundraiser for Ephraim, Earl, and Vincent there. The unofficial official honey tasting, September 29th is the cutoff. Well, actually, September 28th by the Postal Service. If you have it sent by one of the other delivery services, FedEx, UPS, whoever else is out there, they won't run on the Sunday. Well, what? Never mind the 28th then. I thought they ran.
That's why I've been telling people the 28th is the last day.
Well, disregard
the
that.
mail will run, so it can be delivered.
I thought UPS and them run 24/7. But y'all, we got some contenders this year. And
yeah,
when Mr. Russell Koopman sent his in, he's the first entry of cream honey with runny honey this year. And the way it was kind of going, we was like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to do the cream honey, but there's two of them now. Ed sent his, and that's what I'm fixing to show you, and Russell Koopman.
Okay. Well, DC's is kind of cream honey.
Are we going to use that for runny honey or cream honey?
Oh, we did say we
Runny honey.
crystallize it and make it honey.
So, let me show y'all what this man sent. All right, spring honey.
And is that what was the citrus you were telling us about? Satsuma? Is that what that is? Because that was really good, but it had a very different taste to it.
Well, before you go too far with that, hold it. All right, that was the spring honey.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a summer honey.
A little bit darker. Well, it's actually a bit darker.
There we go.
That spring is almost see-through.
All right. Okay. Now let's go with where we fit to go with that. Well, I was talking to Ed about this the other night, and Philip from RTX last year he sent 2 honeys, one from Richmond and one from Capel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those 2 honeys just had. There were so many different tastes in them honeys. It was way different than, I guess, what everybody was sending in,
Mm-hmm.
just far as how many tastes was in that honey that we could pick up on, and we're not at all. That's why it's unofficial, official. But Ed's was kind of like the same way this year. When we tried it, we had a taste to it, then it rolled on for a second, then you got a hint of something else, then you got a hint of something else, and it just kind of kept rolling on with that, with those honeys. And I'm not done. Let me get this one here. Well, I'll save this one for last because I told Carl, talk to him about it.
Oh no, still.
Let me get him out.
Well, hey, Mark McDowell. I promise I won't threaten to put you in the timeout in the chat.
Oh, the man came back, huh?
He came back.
Yes, sir.
I'm serious. I told Tim, if you actually come back and give us another shot, I'm going to apologize to you.
He didn't know about the no M's policy.
No. So I truly, it just did not register in my brain that I hadn't seen your name before and you were brand new. So I do apologize for that. I was not trying to be ugly. So anyway,
Okay,
let
let me do this one.
who was it?
Ed.
Wait, hold on. Philip. Well, Nate, Illuminate, said what I was afraid people would think. No. He said, I think y'all got a good scheme going to get free honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Philip, he's claiming sabotage already. His entry's still in Fort Worth. I think Blaine is sabotaging. You still got 2 weeks, Philip.
Wait till Blaine gets in here. Maybe the man can defend himself with some
Yeah. No, but seriously, Nate, we got a surprise for this year. Like I think y'all will like my idea because I really did feel guilty at how much honey people sent, even when we were saying, just send us a little jelly jar. So I was like, it's not fair for us to, which we didn't keep all of it. We gave a good bit of it away last year.
Mr. Donnie got loaded down with honey.
Yeah, he got loaded down with honey. But no, like I said, it's gonna be a surprise. But I think y'all will get into what we came up with to do with it this year.
Yeah, I think
so.
Most everybody will, or everybody will get magic. But we went through the 99% of the runny honey. Well, getting on to the cream honey. I don't know how well it's going to pick up in the camera.
It's so pretty though.
But it's cinnamon honey, cream honey. And he sent some of his doubleberry cream honey. And then this man, he was out to win it this year, whether it was one or how many we got here? Two, four. We got 6 different varieties that just Ed sent. And this is just, nope, this is hot whipped honey. He got wrote on there. Then, very good. Bear with me. Last one here.
He's juggling.
That's why I was going to say, Carl, 2B brats, ask us tonight, but there's his hot honey. Ed can put in there what peppers he's got in it. And for anybody that's interested in how he done his hot honey, and it's good. We're not spicy food kind of people, really. I do like a little mild kick, maybe a little buzz above mild, but to me, I'm gonna say this. You done good on that far as
Is that the one I stuck my thumb in? Okay. Yeah, it was really good, Ed. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of afraid to try it, but it was good.
So officially, we're going to have a cream honey portion, and the preacher's going to do the runny honey portion. We're going to try to ask the preacher's wife if she would do the cream honey part, and Miss Hannah have some biscuits for her to sample them on.
Yeah.
And she's going to be the judge on the cream honeys on that end. But thank you much, Ed, for sending it to us and all, and we're definitely going to enjoy. We tried every one of them, and they the man's done good with honey and cream honeys. Now, where I was going with Carl, he had mentioned how about a hot honey, maybe next year or something. The only thing that came up in my mind for us doing a hot honey portion would be if somebody tries one person's hot honey, then you move on to a next hot honey. Can you really be able to tell? Are you going for like more spice or just all out flavor of the hot honey? That was my thoughts on that, because it just seemed like to me if you got a little shovel full of a hot honey, you're going to have that pepper spice in your mouth. Then if JoJo sends one in and he uses different peppers, is that going to cancel out his pepper? I reckon, for his taste.
Ed said he would think it would build in heat.
Build in heat. Okay. I mean, I'm all for it. I don't know how that would really work, I guess, because
That's a good question, DC. He said, how complicated do you want the unofficial official honey contest to be?
well, we don't want to complicate it much at all, because
but he tends to overthink
I do.
things just a little bit.
That's just something to chew on. We can yak about maybe about next year and go, well, we did cream honey last year. Let's not do cream honey. Do hot honey.
Well, but too, I think for me, it more stemmed from like trying to be all inclusive, I guess, because everybody's sending so many different kinds of things.
Yes. And since she said that,
Philip said, didn't he tell the preacher he has to spit it out after tasting? Have him an extra red Solo cup there to spit it out.
I have him one of the bottles over there.
Oh, my word.
But talking about, I want this one thing I wasn't going to mention until probably close to the very end, and are getting closer to the end of folks sending their stuff in for the unofficial, official honey tasting. But I've kind of went through, and everybody that has emailed, we have matching names for honey. So this is why I'm not waiting to say anything anymore. This is just more of a curiosity factor of who's going to spill the beans. So besides,
No, Ricky.
well,
He said it would take, Ricky Rourke said it would take an hour to get over Spanky's honey before trying another spice anyway.
um, but outside of folks sending honey, sending your bribes that are not bribes, we've got 2 separate packages in the mail.
And if these are bribes, they're kind of off the wall.
They are very off the wall. And you got me stumped, whomever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt very seriously they're going to come clean until later on. I wouldn't. I would just be laughing my butt off right now if it was me doing this. But
Yeah.
somebody undoubtedly thought I needed 4 things of Right Guard deodorant, Fresh
Y'all
Blast,
smelling through the camera.
what is that?
Antiperspirant.
Perspirant. Okay.
Deodorant.
So that was the
That's
number
what-
1. This was sent a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what in the world? Who in the world sent me some doggone deodorant? Well, I went
But
yesterday.
he come in and threw the box down on the table. It was like he ordered something else from Amazon. I ain't ordered nothing. Open it up. Why would I order you deodorant like that?
Oh, she said that.
That was
You're
Hanny's
forever-
present.
All right.
Y'all
Okay.
could smell me through the camera.
Here was what pushed me over the edge, if you will, as far as coming to tell y'all. Now, yesterday, me and Spanky's talking back and forth text messaging. Did it make it? I don't know. I'm going to the mailbox. I'll let you know something in a few minutes. Back and forth. All right. So the mail lady hands me this pretty good sized box that has got quite a bit of weight to it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm traipsing across the yard like Pepe Le Pew, you know, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. And I walk inside and I told Hannah, I said, here, hold this box. And I just kind of sat it in her arms and she's like, Lord of mercy, who sent it and what's in it? I said, I don't know. I said, but there's a
I
bunch.
ain't ordered nothing again.
But I thought it was Spanky's
Mm-hmm.
sending something. I was like, well, that joker, he done sent peppers and whatever else he done sent.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened the box. Let me tell you, I opened the box up. 15 pounds of cat food somebody sent. 15 pounds.
If it's bribes, it's really random.
I'm going to feed it to the deer first to see if they survive. Then we'll feed it to the cats. Make sure it's okay.
Pepe Le Pew is why they sent the deal.
I fell right off into that one, didn't I? Yeah, boy. Set myself right on. Who said that?
Hey, thanks.
Phil?
Philip said.
That joker. He got me.
That was good.
He got me.
Got you. Nobody ever gets him like that.
No,
Mm.
pretty good one, Philip. I like that. That man's on his feet. Lord, Blaine a bit
I'm
in
gonna
here
think
on that.
about that every time you talk like that.
Oh, my shawty.
Oh my word.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you seen that joker.
Oh my word. No, that doesn't just open up the bribe category there. We're just trying to figure out where all this random stuff's coming from.
Whoever you are, you got me.
Yeah.
So,
It's like the mystery boxes coming in the mail.
mhm.
Well, if it's a bribe, they made it a little too unofficial, DC, because we don't even know who to give credit.
Where's the bribe go to?
Yeah.
But maybe we'll find out who the mystery person is
You want to come say hey?
when we get to the tasting or whenever they decide to tell, if they do. But once again, I was like, Lord of mercy, things is getting crazy.
You can make it. There
But
you go.
let me put the link up here and I'll touch my mouth for a minute.
You've been going for 52 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Get in, Jeff. Please
You ain't the nice thing. Come on, sit down. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
DC said it wasn't him.
Well, like I said, whoever you are, you got a pretty good. You got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah,
But
we did.
there's the link. Anybody wants to smash the button, y'all come on in here and tell us about it.
Ed said it was Bob. Todd said it was DC. DC said it wasn't him.
Should we be looking at the ones throwing blame?
Maybe so. No.
But
Fun times. So who wants to talk about bees?
yeah, come in and tell us about them. Or we'll try to sit here by ourselves and tell you how
Try
about them.
not to derail. It looks like the camera's going up. It's fuzzy.
Oh yeah. Well, we're supposed to get rain
No,
again.
DC said leave. Joey said everybody's passing the buck.
Well, I thought maybe the cat food from Lee because the address said somewhere over in Louisiana at an Amazon distribution center. But I was like, well,
Lee just said, I just walked back in. What am I getting blamed for?
cat food. You send 15
We're
pounds of
getting
cat
really
food?
random stuff in the mail, Lee. Somebody thinks 10 stinks and sent him a whole bunch of deodorant.
Yeah, we don't feed our cats enough.
No, Ricky said Lee is sneaky like that.
So, if that be the case, game on. Game on. Yep. It's going to be, you know how it can get. It can get
Now
fun.
they're saying Bob. Bob's good at being a goofball. He said. Oh, man.
What else?
I don't know.
So,
Russell said Lee's the only one smart enough.
yeah. They'll never expect it from me. Debbie,
Oh, for real? Lee? He said it's not him. They got a scam going on. Something with people mailed through Amazon.
Well, look. Never mind. Well, it hit me. I was like, well, if y'all going to send me something, send me a 1911 Smith & Wesson. But you can't mail that through the mail anymore, and you definitely can't get that off Amazon. So that's out.
Crazy. Well, what name?
That's where
We done derailed all over the place.
We done spun out before we even got there.
Yeah. Lee sends death wish.
That he does now. He will send that death wish out.
Joey said he got a large bottle of cologne and didn't know who it came from.
Does it smell good? Well, what you do is you spray it on one of your friends real quick. Make sure they come out all right.
DC said Lee just ruined our fun, not knowing who it was. Joey said we use it for bathroom spray.
Yeah.
Hey, now I would accept that kind of bribe, Russell, in a heartbeat. Said somebody could send a dishwasher.
There you go.
He still wouldn't put it in.
We have to wait for power.
That man would have a good cover story. Darren said if you get a whoopee cushion, it wasn't from me.
No.
Please don't send a whoopee cushion, Darren, because he'll use it. in public,
All right.
and it won't turn out good.
Todd and Walmart. Oh,
We're
yeah.
supposed to talk about bees.
Okay, we'll go back.
It's supposed to be a beekeeping chat.
All right. Well, I'll leave Walmart for last for the ones of you that ride it out with us all the way.
Mike said, I think Amazon loses its mind sometimes. I got a roll of AstroTurf last year. That's random.
We'll be around. Well, what can I do with this here?
Yeah.
You can put it down by your bees down there and keep them hive beetles out.
Ricky said that was the deal.
Well, you figure on things. Much of stuff costs nowadays. But, all right. I
He
guess.
said I did. He used it for that.
Whatever you see. This was kind of run by us. We got some, they're more, well, the lady was best friends with Hannah's mama. And they've been talking the last year or so about getting in some bees, and whereabouts in Louisiana they at? North
I think they're
Louisiana?
in northern Louisiana now. I think. Like up around Shreveport.
I can't remember. They finally got their bees, and the lady called, and she kept Hannah on the phone for a good while about how excited she was about.
Y'all, she was pumped. They just finished their first inspection in their first beehive, and they found the queen. I was like, boy, I remember that feeling.
Mm-hmm. It's time to celebrate for real.
Mm-hmm.
I know what she looks like now. And after they got done talking, there was some mention of sugars being contaminated with. I guess I should have got the laptop out.
What was the name?
It was
Glyphosate?
Yeah, glyphosate, or what they call it. Yeah, that was it. Glyphosate. There's a glyphosate and a fo.
Oh.
Two different words.
Okay.
One of them they used, I think what I was reading up was like around the 1970s they was using, then apparently the EPA got involved and they said, look, there's too much pesticide and insecticide in this product to be putting on sugarcane fields.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all need to go through, revise something. Well, pretty much like the pharmaceutical industry does. Well, we got a new product, but we just give it a different name and tweak the ingredients a little bit. Undoubtedly, it's pretty well the same, but the glyphosate undoubtedly is what's in the Roundup, I believe, is
That's
what it read.
Philip just asked. I was trying to type it out, but since he said it, we'll just say it. But yeah, she said it's the main like active ingredient in Roundup. So
I was doing just a tad bit of research on it a while ago. I was thinking, well, if we get into a subject on beekeeping that perhaps anybody that's heard of this or may not have heard about this, you go do your own research because there's a whole bunch to it. But there was a couple of little websites that had some fairly good information on. They done. Yep, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, what Lee says down there. Boom. And undoubtedly, they use this a lot in the cane fields to kill off.
Yeah, she said they'll like kill off all the leaves and everything that's on the cane itself so they can harvest it.
But when they're the ones that are actually saying something about this, and the only ones that I've noticed to actually say this is bad is a website over in the UK. And undoubtedly, which I mean, we all know that there's a whole lot more that is put into our foods, and we can use this in beekeeping. The sugars that we use now, y'all don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody going in pandemonium mode of I'm not going to feed you. I'm just saying, here's a little research if you want to look into something.
Mm-hmm.
But undoubtedly, the glyphosate
Mm-hmm.
was found in bee colonies.
Yeah.
It was found in the wax. It was found in the honey. And I guess from it being in the wax, it had leached into pollen as well that was stored or your bee bread. So you're getting these micro, there's probably a lower something term for it, but I'm just going to say micro amounts that the bees are picking up in the wild from going out and doing on top of, I forget the other word, but they have this other concoction that they've made up undoubtedly that makes that cane ripen quicker.
Mm-hmm.
It draws that sweetness up through that cane versus letting nature take its course and the cane just naturally process and get ready when the time for it to be ready. It's still got to where we speed things up nowadays, and it's kind of throwing the plant life off on track. So apparently we have an additive now that you can put into your crops. But with the glyphosate, it's like leaching into the ground as well. So what it's doing is killing the stuff on top, the bugs,
Mm-hmm.
then all that's leaching down that sugar cane, getting into the ground. Well, once it gets into the ground, you got your rainwater, and it's turning around and soaking that right back up
Mm-hmm.
into the sugar cane. Then the only thing the USDA will say that I read is that it has been found in human blood and in human urine
Mm-hmm.
as far as the trace amounts going from product to ingestion to being distributed out through our bodies. But I don't know if anybody else, undoubtedly some of y'all already have kind of maybe read up, brushed up on it. But
Yeah, I would think so, DC. He said maybe that's partly why cane sugar is harder on bee gut.
what was it called? Cane sugar and beet, BEET sugar, I think,
Beech sugar?
said it was one of the biggest things that those trace amounts were found in.
Mm-hmm. But I thought she was saying they were finding a whole lot more than trace amounts.
Well,
They were finding really high amounts in the cane.
according to the UK's website, there's 40% more found in the US than there is anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure, because one of the articles I read was the people that came out with the pesticide that had the glyphosate in it. All right, they went to the EPA undoubtedly. Like I said, this is in the 70s. They went to the EPA. EPA said, okay, you can put it on here. No problem. Well, folks started picking up something ain't right. So environmentalists and folks on the good side are saying, look, we need to back off this. Y'all need to find a better and safer way versus what y'all were doing. So the company did it, said, okay, we will. And that's where we go back to, they changed a little bit of formula, gave it a new name, presented it to the EPA, and the EPA said, we'll let you do it now. But undoubtedly before there was 5,000 times the amount of glyphosate then. But
Hey, everybody.
I thought that was quite interesting. I hadn't heard anything on that. And I was like, well, we'll see where it takes us in topic.
And I believe that, Todd, in a heartbeat. He said, think about this. Nothing is organic anymore because so much Roundup has been sprayed over the years and is in the atmosphere. And when it rains, the rain drops it back down to us.
Mm-hmm.
This is some of the stuff I brought up with. This is some of the stuff I brought up with you, Tim, on several phone calls. We've talked about the chemical buildup in our hives. And I'm not. I worry about that because I'm around a bunch of agricultural area too, and I don't know what they're putting on. I don't know what they're putting on these fields out here. So that may be why every once in a while I end up with a hive that ends up being weak. And
But did you release them?
Let me go back over here and see if Lee's comment. Okay. Anybody that understands all that, there's bound to be somebody that go, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. But
I mean, what was blowing my mind was he said the Roundup Power Max 3 contains 4.8 pounds of glyphosate acid per gallon and is formulated as a potassium salt. That's a lot of glyphosate acid.
well, I mean, in the original, back in the 70s, that's whenever they were saying there's 5,000 times the amount of what should have been applied to any crop of what was in the old timey Roundup.
Yeah.
Now they probably had a whole new name for it back then, DDT or something along those lines. Ain't no telling, but and that's what caused them to, or the environmentalists will say, will start to make the push. Say, look, there's too much chemical going into this, and like Todd's saying, it's raining, picking it up in the air and the moisture, it's dropping it down. Then whatever's in the soil is leaching further down into the soil. Then naturally the plant is thirsty. So what does the plant do? It drinks that water from the soil, which is contaminated, and it just recycles itself back into that plant. But versus being on the exterior of the plant, it is now on the interior, of which we're going to say with cane sugar is going to be ingested, whether it's ingested by humans or ingested by us feeding bees. But I mean, I'm not fixing to go on this anti-sugar kick of I'm not doing this and I'm not trying to get anybody's head spinning on things. Like I say, go do your research on it. That way you can clarify in your head from what I'm confusing you on probably. But it was just one of those deals of we'll just have this open air portion. Like Ed's saying, is it something that's being sprayed on the fields that is just gradually taking your bees out?
Is that I live in Central New York. They grow a lot of corn and soybeans. Every time they would spray the corn, some of my hives would just die out. So my other friends that were beekeepers had the same problem.
Let's put two and two together.
Well, what you got to think about this too is that you don't. That's why in America we can't. In the continental United States, we can't claim anything organic because of this issue. I think the only state in the United States can claim we're having organic, I think, is Hawaii, from what I've looked at, because they don't spray as much as we do. So, and think about it. I mean, not only that, all the chemicals we ingest, one way or another, like cryovac meats, what the cows ingest, we're inundated ourselves, much less the bees themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a lot. There's a lot to weigh and balance and consider. And I'm not going to use pests as for general, but when you treat your hive, what are we doing? We're throwing more at them. So what are we doing to our investment by throwing more chemicals on them? I'm not saying don't treat. I'm just saying that this is something you need to weigh and balance if they need it.
Well, I'm gonna have another part once we get done with the sugar, but I need to jot it down so I don't forget. But see if anybody has heard or seen anything like this. But I watched this on a video the other day. What are you saying?
Were you talking about cars?
Go ahead.
He made a pretty good point. He said most of us in here were taught about crop rotation to preserve the soil. Today it's just plant and treat with chemical to burn whatever. I personally believe it'll catch up to today's farmers.
Well,
I totally agree with that.
Absolutely. And yeah, doing crop rotation, and I believe in the biblical portion of that as well. To do your crop rotation, and every 7 years let your land rest. Plant again. I know that's hard. It's easier said than done, especially for the farmer that is depending on that yearly income. But nowadays, it's just throw it in the ground. We'll package it and say it's okay. Y'all have at it, and we'll see you at the treatment center.
Tom and Melissa made a good point too. But I think the bees are the quote unquote canaries in the coal mine when it comes to our soil. We're already starting to see big issues in our health with allergies to food, skin issues, and illness in general.
Yeah, and when it comes to our food, they're the very first ones to come in contact. They're out there doing pollinating. You ain't gonna get your fruit trees, watermelons, cantaloupes, any and everything else that depends on, whether it's your native pollinators or using honeybees to pollinate. When they go out there and do it, whether it don't kill that bee right then, they're coming in contact with said product and carrying all that right on back to the colony. Then is it something that just gradually, instead of that bee living 6 weeks, that bee is living for 3.5 to 4 weeks because it had that small amount that it's gradually coming in contact with every time it goes to pollinate.
But what's it doing to think about what it's doing to the brood nest? It was in the pollen, or from the plant, and they're feeding that to the larvae. How healthy are they when they first come out of the wax capping?
Yes.
So is their life already cut short before they're even hatched?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then got the effect of, like you saying, the nurse bees are feeding, all right, feeding pollen, bee bread to them, hooking them up with some honey. But then, if the wax is contaminated as well, that cell that they're in, you're coming in contact with absorption.
Yeah, you're contaminated already. Right from the get-go.
I mean, I mean, I don't even think if you cut out all that stuff right now, all the chemical use, I don't think you're gonna see much difference in the way the colonies are today for maybe 20, 30 years before it starts going down, if that, depending on what the half-life. I don't know, Lee could probably look up the half-life of what glyphosates are, and that'll tell you where you'll have a 50% change in your brood, in your hives, in their healthiness, if it was all cut out. Even if a glyphosate has a half-life, I don't know if it does or not. So, I mean, it's just.
I'm gonna do a little more.
We've done irreparable damage, by inducing some of the chemicals we have. I'm talking about the not natural chemicals, but I'm talking about other chemicals that we've created in the laboratory for the uses. We've created irreparable damage for a long period of time.
Well, kind of got. All right, I'm gonna be. I guess I'll put biblical out there to start with. Now, all the believers out there, we know that one day, in according to Scripture, that all of this is just going to be over with. All right, but the Lord tells us these days are going to wax worse and worse and worse. And for what we're seeing in modern times, we're seeing things kind of line up with what Scripture is saying in the latter days. Now, we don't know when the Lord's going to come back. We don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or another 1,000 years. But the lineup is going to happen, and it's coming on, whether we see it in our lifetime or the kids or grandkids see it. Now, with me going with that, then the ultimate plan by Satan would be a lot of what we're kind of seeing nowadays on the control of our food and things of that nature. All right, you got big corporations coming in telling the farmers what they can and can't do on their own land. You got the EPA running whatever they're running out there. So, what better plan is to destroy, but yet make it to look like, oh, well, it's just a few pesticides and things like that, but we're going to do some more testing and make sure this doesn't happen anymore. Then we'll just change the product name, a few little words on the ingredients, and go on so on and so forth. So we know the ultimate plan is to eventually control everything, and we're beginning to see that in our foods and stuff. But what better way, just me and my opinion, well, like Humberto's video the other week about those big corporations coming in buying folks out. All right, if they have control of the beekeepers and the pollinators, right off the rip, you got control of the food. So a big corporation can come in and buy all up. We'll say all the honeybee colonies everywhere. People go selling out. Well, then, yeah, they can continue pollinating different farms of their choices, things along that line. Besides, anybody in this group saying, "I'm gonna send my bees out there to Todd and help him pollinate with almonds with his bunch out there," versus, no, we're going to have Mr. Stevenson. He's going to do farms A and farm B and be able to control the flow of things and just lock it down gradually. Boom, 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 boom. So people say, "Tim, you conspiracy theory thinker and all that on that end," but if they're going to gain control, and this is anywhere, the best way to start is to control people by the food. And that's whether you take it away from them or you gradually poison them. Then the end result is whatever y'all want out of it, pretty much, as far as people up to no good.
Well, you know,
But I don't.
you want to talk scriptural too. We're all supposed. We're as a Christian, we're supposed to be um, try to maintain and steward all this as much as we can. You know, I mean, we doesn't mean we can stop it. I'm just saying we're supposed to be good stewards of what God's given us to manage. And part of it's looking to see what we can do to protect them as much as we can.
Mhm.
And it isn't going to be
But
one or
that's
two
not.
people going to be able to change that either.
Well, it's going to take the voices of everybody, but it's just like everything else right now. The people don't speak up like they did 150 years ago. They ain't out there knocking on the doors of the folks representing us and going out there as one, as we the people, as it was intended to be. Yeah, a lot of folks just sit back and, well, we're going to fuss about it, but I'm not going to do anything. I'll let, this bunch over here go take care of it because they crazy anyway.
Yeah.
So where does that leave a lot of folks? It'd be nice if we did, don't get me wrong. I'll be standing right there with you, Captain. But I just don't see as many that should be standing up. And the bigger voices, as far as the beekeeper world, is going to start with these commercial guys that says, hey, look, we've had enough of this. Okay. We'll take our bees and we'll put them where we want to. Somebody that's going to make sure our colonies are safe, make sure they're not getting around a whole bunch of pesticides, going to do everything that they can to ensure that, Ed's bees are going to be just as good, if not better, whenever they leave from pollination. But I'm just one dude down here in South Alabama.
Well, this could be a start. Someone was saying something about Ian because Ian is he's big ag, but he's also Canadian too. So I don't know what the restraints are on some of the chemicals they have in their country. That could be a factor. They may not be using what we use because we don't have the same restrictions. That's like in Europe too. There's certain things in Europe they won't allow them to use because of the damage it causes.
Mm-hmm.
And our country doesn't do that.
No, the more I got to reading on this, the glyphosate and all that, as far as the USDA, it's just that they're kind of, well, we'll let big corporations, y'all do, here's what I told you to do. Now, if you do it, I'm going to slap you on the hand and we'll just kind of sweep it on the rug and just allow that process to repeat and repeat and repeat. Now, you're talking about like over in the UK, that there was lists of different things that they don't have in their foods. They don't have in their, out in their sugarcane fields or wherever they get sugar from. None of that is allowed in over there. But here in the U.S., it's just kind of like, hey, just put it to it. As long as it doesn't hurt me, I'm good with it. It's hard to see them from here.
Those are really good.
Yeah. It boils down to passing the buck. Like some of the treatment, other treatments and stuff that we do. Some people do 2, some do 4, some do 6. They don't go by the label. They just mix it up and roll. And that's part of the problem. Well, we're granted we're a bunch of rebels in this country, anyways, but still, that doesn't give us the right to do things that are illegal
No,
for the most part. You know,
we should all, just as you said, or whoever it was that may be in the chat, we should all be stewards of the land. All right, take care of the land. If we took care of the land as the Indians, the native Indians, the people here in our country, the ones that was here first, all right, if we took care of the land as the way those folks done, we'd be all right. You know, because they wouldn't having all this. You bring your chemicals and pesticides in and all that, but what they do, they just government said you disagree with me, and I'm gonna put you here. And the reason I'm kind of going off some of that is I transition over to we're gonna leave the sugar for a minute, or is everybody kind of wound up on that?
And they're mostly talking about like the farming, the chemicals and stuff still in the chat. Because Russell Koopman, he's in Minnesota, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said he lives in the most ag concentrated area in Minnesota, and he averaged over 200 pounds of honey per hive last year and 120 this year. But then Darren was saying, I agree, but what are they spraying versus what are they spraying elsewhere? Because Russell was saying that if the farm chemicals were that dangerous, then Ian's bees would all be dead. I think Ed saw that comment. But then Darren was saying, maybe Ian has a plan to negate the effect. I don't know. Mark McDowell's on your side. We the people must take a stand and fight back.
Yes.
He's with you.
Appreciate you, sir.
But then, I don't know if it's Tom or Melissa or both, but VIA said, is it possible that they just don't spray anything as the plant's blooming? And that's why the bees aren't getting in it and taking it back, I guess. I don't know. But I agree with Sarah. You can't have big companies doing their own research and putting it.
This guy Roy Pro, he says here about as we see more invasive species from other countries, it must be difficult on farmers these days, and I'm including the bee farmer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the problem could be too is because of the chemicals, the invasive species are taking over or getting a better foothold because maybe they're not affected by these chemicals as badly or not been exposed to them as long as the insects in our country have, which they start in becoming resistant to different chemicals or building an immunity against certain reactions in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at that's causing the problem. Overusage is causing a problem. Different species coming in, which is true.
Well, in the UK, I'm sorry, go ahead. Carry on. Here.
Well, I'm just saying, I could leave it there. The different species coming in, we don't know what they are immune or not immune to. And if we're throw the same thing at them, what they're going to do if they're immune to it already, then it's not going to stop them. It's not going to slow them down.
No, you just putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound is all you do. But you're just painting a pretty picture to make it look nice. Like far as corporations and government and all that. But on the UK side, I forget what it was. Let me try to remember how I typed it in there. I think I typed in, is there poison in sugar cane and does it harm honeybees? And I just went from there. Mm-hmm. And the one study come up, over in the UK. But it seemed that they led more towards organic ways of remedying the pest. Have they done older days, but they mass produced whatever the organic remedy was, whether you spraying hot pepper on a plant. I'll just say that to keep the white flies off.
Darren, this kind of, I don't know about, but Darren said Penn State's latest paper is that glyphosate harms the bee by killing the forage, not the actual chemical application to the bee. But I don't see how it couldn't harm the bee if the bee got into it.
Even if it doesn't hurt them directly at that point in time, they're carrying it back to the hive, walking over the wax, spreading it into the wax.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, how can it not affect the bee? Because it's gonna contaminate everything in that hive, and that has a ripple effect to it.
Yeah, and the larvae, you don't know what it's gonna do to the larvae. At the stage they're at, they're most vulnerable, where it may not affect the full grown bee as much. They're carrying it back in. We don't know where that line is with these chemicals.
Well, what it brought to my mind was I went back to EMT school and first responder and all that, but in some of the very basics of your first responder classes, as far as medical portion, or whether you're going through EMT school, there was, I think it was 5 different ways to have something be put into your body. All right. That was to ingest something, to inhale something, to inject something, to absorb something. Okay. Inhale, absorb, ingest, inject, and absorb. I'm sorry. 4 or 5 of them. But where I'm going with that, them bees are going to be the same way. If they touch something, they're going to come in contact with it. If they go to try to pull nectar out of it, they're ingesting it. They're not getting injected with anything out in the field, but the absorption, inhalation, and ingestion is definitely going to be in there as far as the honeybee coming in contact. But we don't know which portion to be. Did they just walk through it, or did they get them a sip of nectar, bringing it on back, passing it through, or something airborne? Then no, they're not going to bring it back as they breathe. But did they come in contact with something that they breathe in out there, along those lines? But here's another one. Then the honeybees are our pollinators, along with the native bees out here. Our little bumblebee, the masons, and Spanky, he can probably tell you anything else in between there on that end as far as the native pollinators. But we're here because we're beekeepers, and the majority of the folks take their colonies out for pollination. Now, you go back to where the government is trying to buy people out, like in Humberto's video the other week. Keep an eye on that, as he's saying. Maybe not go there, but it was on some kind of modern marvels type video, if you will. But artificial pollination. Undoubtedly, they have come out, or they're working on this gadget to where the thing kind of just looked like a solar panel, really, is what it looked like to me. But I imagine if they made it on a large scale, that this contraption does your pollination for you. So there's no need to have the mason bee, the bumblebee, the honeybee.
The chief just said they think AI can do it.
Pretty much,
Mhm.
it is the way I got from it. And I was thinking, boy, yeah, y'all just trying to, kill out the whole process is what it looks like to me. So if you're buying out all the beekeepers, if you're poisoning the food, whether it's us or the bees, and now y'all are already have machines that you're testing to pollinate orchards and things along that nature, then
But they never seen all them movies where all them robots turn on them. That's what I'm afraid of. Them think
Well,
it ain't the answer. AI is
well,
not the answer.
let nature be nature and let's leave it alone. Let's help them,
well,
yes, but
well, how accurate is a mechanical device going to pollinate nature than having nature do itself? Is what you're saying, and I believe that. You know, the bees are the honeybees are 1/3 of the pollinators. We lose honeybees, we lose 1/3 of anything we eat that's pollinated. All right, so that's a reduction. If the pollinating honeybees go away, what's the next domino to fall?
mhm.
After that, what's going to cause? Because you broke a link in the ecosystem with the bees being gone, honeybees being gone, extinct. Is there something else that might be natural that might be able to take its place? I don't know. Is there the possibility that there is nothing in our attempts to try to pollinate don't produce the same quality or quantity of products that we are consuming today? And with the population is growing. I wouldn't say we're overpopulated, but I'm just saying our population continues to grow. So, which means we need more food. If we need more food and we can't pollinate enough to feed everybody, what's that domino going to cause? What's it going to fall? What's going to happen?
Well,
I mean,
let me go ahead.
no, I'm just saying that's the way I look at it. Is what I was getting ready to say.
Well, I
And I'm
mean,
not blaming the farmer completely either.
well, no, but there's an example that you can look at. A portion of that, one of the Asian cultures went through and they put out some kind of pesticide and insecticide that just annihilated their pollinators over there. So now what people are having to do in orchards, they're gradually trying to get the bees introduced back over there, but they annihilated everything over there. So it's going to take a long time to replenish if you're trying to get your pollinators back. But I mean, it's a daily life for them now to go out and have to pollinate by themselves each little bitty flower on that tree in order to get a little bit of yield off the fruit. But those people are seeing the repercussions of that now because many of them's on the verge of starvation because they can't get the food that they need because they done killed off the pollinator. So now let's go back and let's see if man can fix it now. And the result isn't looking very well for us. There's a good chance we probably messed up on this and we shouldn't have killed off everything. Maybe we should have focused on, like I'll just say the white fly, because around here the white fly chew the bulb off a flower or anything that's trying to bloom during a certain time of the year, and you're not going to get anything off of it. If you can concentrate on that one insect that is putting you in a bind, but yet protect your honeybees and pollinators, then yeah, let's go there. I'm for that. But at the same time, if we throw off the balance in nature, then we're just going to throw off the balance in something else as far as the process of nature.
Oh, because we're not natural, we don't think that way. That's exactly what it's part of the problem. we, don't get me wrong, we are natural. But I'm just saying, we don't think the way nature does. We're not programmed that way as nature is to do what they need to do. That's a big problem. And someone stated in here, man has the problem of thinking we're God and can do it. And that's big. That is a big problem. We think we can do it, and we can't do it all. We can't do everything. And we have to other things in this world where God created so that there be somewhat of a balance. Ants, bees, other insects take care of things that we can't see and don't do.
That's what I was gonna say. God is the only one that knows that detailed, intricate balance that our ecosystem requires. We can't duplicate that. I don't care how many robots you build and tell me they can do whatever you program it to do. If you don't know how to do it, how do you program that robot to do it? It's not going to dream it up on its own. And people,
or let's say
duplicate that.
Well, you say it was not a robot. Let's say they genetically modify the plants to pollinate themselves in the wind. Okay, now that the plant has been changed from its original design, what repercussions in that genetic change are going to be transferred to the human in that process? In that fruit or whatever's being made whatever's being made, it's going to transfer to the human that will cause irreparable damage, possible diseases, resistance to drugs. I mean, the list goes on and on. If you really look, if we let something go, if we're not stewarding it or trying to think about stewarding it the way we should, what effects is this having in wild hives we don't know anything about? Is it destroying them faster? Is it or are we mitigating it or slowing it down? I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the points, but just things to think about and look at and consider. And like I said, I'm not blaming the farmers for the problem because they're doing. I guess
they're doing what they have to do.
Well, I guess, and some of the farmers are contracted from the government to do certain things, plant certain stuff, and do things certain ways. I mean, they're more or less being guided to do that. And are they the ones causing the damage by the mandates that's being put on them?
I was gonna say, I think they're more pushed into a corner on a lot of it. It's more mandates than an option you can choose from.
Yeah, because once you signed on that piece of paper to agree to do anything with the government, you don't put yourself in a bind because then they have say.
Well, and you may not get the money you were told you're going to get if you don't do it the way they told you to do it.
So then your livelihood's on the line.
Yeah, then their livelihood, their house, their families, their livelihood is gone. And there's a lot of farmers that are probably in that position, and they've been in that position a long time.
But it seems that we have created, don't get me wrong, quite the discussion this evening. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere where it has been, and I appreciate everybody putting input in, especially.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting chat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, their experience, what they know of, what they read, and things are kind of lining up. I don't want people going, boy, Tim went off to one conspiracy theory last night. You need to go check that out. Not at all.
Blame it on me because I've been going off on chemicals for a while. So don't blame it all on Tim.
And Mark McDowell and several others are right there with us.
I mean, like I said, me and Ed, we've had this conversation on the phone 2 or 3 times. Been an hour and a half on the phone, just kind of. Ed has dove off much deeper in it than I have. He was actually educating me on different things a while back. And whenever we was talking to our family friend, that's when it just clicked in my head. So, well, let's just kind of see if it'll make a conversation piece and we'll see where it goes. But undoubtedly, there's a lot of folks on that track of thinking. But what I must stress is go do your own research to verify what are the questions that you have. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you,
I'm gonna tell you, I may have misunderstood some things, and if I have, please let me know. You know, I'll take criticism. I take correction, but be nice.
No,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're here to
So
learn from one another.
that's all I'm saying about, I mean, I'm not trying to throw false information. I'm throwing what I've gathered. So
those chemicals will make our hair fall out.
So there's one side effect.
That's a bad one, ain't it, Joey?
I still have hair. I just keep it short.
Thank you for that. I'm putting my notice in.
I knew that was
Mm-hmm. Okay. We ain't got to work tomorrow. We can go as far as y'all want, but
Mark said I live in Virginia and I have honeybees.
Mr. Mark Mills, Mark McDowell.
Philip said, Joey, I'm looking for somebody to sue. You got people in your corner, Joey. They can empathize.
I like Via's comment. Discussion is good. Is thought provoking.
It's to turn in.
And that's the whole reason when I bring it up, I'm not trying to condemn everybody and everything. I'm just saying we have allowed ourselves to get in a position that we may not be able to back out of, but can we? Is there a way we might be able to mitigate some of that in our own hives? You know, I've been racking my brain on it and trying to think. You know, someone kept saying, cut your old comb out, or rotate your comb. What do you do with the old wax? Are you just making candles out of it and burning it back and evaporating the chemicals, or are we rolling it on our foundations for the bees to pull it, so we're still adding some back to them? I mean, you just have to try to, figure out what we're doing or how to. If heating it up, it kills it. I don't know. It's worth looking into.
Well, I mean, undoubtedly, whenever we had Mr. Bob Benny a few weeks back, I don't want to misquote, but along the lines of he knew of a lady trying to do some testing on some wax. Some of y'all may remember this, but she looked around umpteen different places here in the U.S. and everywhere that she did testing, there was some type of chemical of some sorts, whether it's in the honey, the pollen, but I think her main research was on the wax, trying to find a pure wax. And she ended up having to go down to, like I said, I don't want to misquote, but I think it was down South Africa, along South America way. And before she was able to finally find some beeswax that was not contaminated with any kind of chemicals, it was just all natural. The bees going out doing their thing, pollinating, getting nectar, bringing it back, and they're living a happy life.
Have you watched Tim Floyd on your talk on Dirt Rooster? He just came in and just tuning in, so I'm maybe repeating something, but Tim Floyd used to do a talk on this. I heard him at the Louisiana State Conference in 2019. I don't know, I was going to try to look it up. I hadn't heard any of that. Then Joey said those bureaucrats can talk this stuff to death and never get much confidence.
Well, they had
paper pushers.
They hadn't unburdened what had been yet. So that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Mm. That was a pretty painful video to watch.
Which was,
The one where you
Yeah, yeah.
commented that it's not unburdened, it's been burdened.
I was flat out say I don't really know what to do about it. I'm just aware of it and looking at it. You know,
about the best advice I guess I could give would be if you live somewhere like us and you're worried about your bees, and for the folks that are new to us, something like that, but we live in a very rural area. They plant crop after crop, year after year around here. There's tens of thousands of acres of open fields and forest, well, mainly pine around here, but a whole bunch of agricultural work does go on around us. The only advice that I could give, if you're worried about your bees along any lines being potentially poisoned, or you have a concern, try to speak with the farmer, whoever's doing the farming, and say, hey, look, I live a mile down the road. I just started beekeeping a couple years ago. I've got 10 hives out here, but there's a good chance my bees are going to come over and pollinate whatever your crop is. Can you tell me, do y'all spray any harsh chemicals and around what time so I can try to lock my bees down for a day or two while the dust settles, if you will, or
I mean, I don't see how that really.
I mean, it's not really going to help the bees if they're spraying chemical, but I guess the ease of mind of, well, if they're going to spray on the 22nd, I'm going to lock my bees down to 22nd and 23rd. Then I'll cut them back loose.
The bees are going straight to what they sprayed the chemical on.
Just more of an ease of mind, I reckon, because we're not going to get away from it.
Catherine said, was that Marla Spider?
I think it was.
Was it?
I think it was.
Maybe Catherine?
Anybody that's interested, go back to when we had Mr. Bob Benny a few weeks back, and you may have to kind of rummage through it a little bit. But he kind of gave a lengthy little discussion on, but I'm pretty sure that was her name, on the lady trying to find an actual clean and pure beeswax.
Yeah, I agree there. That could help. But, I mean, if the bees are drawing nectar from plants that's been contaminated, be right back in the same box.
wasn't that Laura Spivey? Was her name? The one you're talking about?
Look, she said Marla Spivak.
Okay, Marla. Okay.
Okay.
Let me put that name back up here.
Mr. J.W. He said BA is politicking in here.
Where'd she go?
Okay.
I'm looking for Catherine's comment.
Right under, go back down, it's right under Randy's next comment. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. There's a woman's name anybody may be interested in. Maybe looking her up and see.
Yeah. Marla Spivak, yeah. Actually, I thought she was at the bee conferences last year. I thought.
We didn't make it.
I didn't either.
Todd, you still in here? Or did he go to get him a sandwich and get in the recliner and fall asleep?
Well, he was cooking a real meal, so I imagine he's sitting down eating it.
We'll give him a second see if he's still here.
Spanky's in here.
What you say, Spanky? I was just telling them earlier about they was about that far for me chomping on that pepper tonight, but
I told him I think he was secretly relieved. Because he apologized for not coming.
well, it worked out pretty good. If Spanky to be here Monday, if Blaine didn't sabotage Phillips' package, then Phillips should be here. I think it said Wednesday. Then there's a couple others out there that are sending your entries in for the unofficial, official. Put the
James, too.
James Noble. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
One.
Oh, I was spinning there for a minute. I thought I got cut.
Oh, you thought you got cut. We got some bad weather kind of moving in and out. It might be us.
Spanky, let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Let's see how this one pepper gets in. And
I'm telling y'all, he thought I didn't hear him, but he breathed him a sigh of relief when that package wasn't in the mail yesterday.
So what'd you think of that whipped hot honey I sent?
man, it's all good there.
Yeah, Ed, it really was. I was surprised. Like, I'm not lying. I really didn't think I'd be able to do the hot honey.
That whipped hot honey is hotter than the actual regular pepper honey.
Yeah, this is the whipped hot honey.
Yeah, and that stuff, that white stuff on the top, that's all that what we call the icing in the whipped honey. That's that icing. I leave it in there.
Yeah. Carl said he's waiting a little longer to send his stuff. I want to see if the fix is in so I can top the highest bid.
Well, I told the preacher this morning, I said, if you get some mail from a couple gentlemen, I know there's a couple of y'all talking about bribing the preacher
Yeah.
beforehand, you're going to send him a letter or some kind of love offering just to help the preacher, if you will, not a bribe.
Mike Davis, he's talking about that.
Yeah. I told him, he got a good laugh out of that today. He said, are you serious? I said, yes, sir. I said, folks having a good time with it.
Oh, is that a new video, Joey? I missed that.
Stick the email in there for anybody that's interested.
Mr. Roy just said he's gonna mail his in the morning.
But if anybody want to, send something for the unofficial, official honey taste.
Oh, he hadn't put it out yet.
Shoot us an email and headline it, honey tasting, and we'll go from there.
I'm gonna be looking for that one. Joey said,
well, you can't bribe a preacher.
yeah, you bet. Yeah, God will get you. But Joey said Randy has some video on some folks tasting pepper honey. LOL.
Let's see how that is then.
He said he hadn't put it out yet.
When it gets so tired, maybe you don't want to reckon.
No, he's still here. He's scraping frames.
He's here. All right.
Mr. JW said he's sending his honey by email. Tell us how good it is, Mr. JW.
Yes, like I told you last night, I'll slide him that piece of paper. So Mr. JW says he wants to win.
Sorry, I quit interrupting you.
Now we'll get off bees because we're fixing to derail. But
we were doing so good.
Well, I think we've been pretty well covered up. Got our conspiracy theory out the way, poison's out the way. Our honeybees ain't doing real good because of conspiracy theories and poison.
Mr. J. W. said, give me the ribbon.
You
Oh, baby.
need to find that man a big blue ribbon.
Oh, let's see what we're up to. I gotta add Ed to my list too.
Oh, we had,
We got-
how many we have last year? 12.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty close to that. If not, we're fixing to go over it.
We got
That took a couple shows last time.
11 so far.
Okay, we're at
So
11.
we're gonna beat last year because we still hadn't got at least 3 or 4. Kimberly said she was sending one.
Blaine sending his, but it'll be on the
Blaine.
last day.
Philip, James, Mr. Roy,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. JW's email.
So we about, yeah, we're gonna be pushing. Maybe by the time it's over, we're probably about 20 this year, y'all. I heard that.
But that'll make my idea work even better.
Yeah. She come up with a good plan on things. And we're gonna have to get with Lee probably, be the mechanics of the technology. But
Kill me, please.
She got a good idea on what to do with the honey after the tasting.
Spanky said I didn't send a bribe. If anything, I sent the opposite of a bribe.
Yeah. Don't put his in there.
You gonna hurt him, Spanky.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Death sentence by Spanky.
Oh, it's gonna be.
No.
But good, y'all. Best video I ever took.
I'm gonna make sure I got at least a half gallon of milk because I did study up that apparently milk is the only one that'll calm down hot pepper. So,
Yeah, Darren. This is true. He's sending his too because the whole thing was his idea. The very first year.
it was what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How could you forget?
We was
Good
talking about
grief,
that not long ago.
buttons.
Of, how all this got started. Because this ain't something we thought of. This is something like, Darren
Mhm.
come up with, and like tonight, the chat went crazy with it. Like,
Just
let's do
took
this.
off.
And that's kind of where, even our second year, we're going to surpass
Milk,
last year.
ice cream, yogurt. Are you making a grocery list?
He's helping me with the pepper.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all gut recovery from pepper.
So I was fixing to tell him, man, you're in the chat, not your notes app. Do you need any other hygiene products for a bride?
Who said this?
Mr. Roy.
No, sir. Everybody's got me good. Deodorant. And I'm stocked up on soap and shampoo and what have you.
Uh-huh.
Get that double ply toilet paper. You're gonna need it. Or those wet wipes.
I promised my wife I was not going to go there tonight. So,
Well, that's as
I
far as I'm
told
going
you
with it.
better not start that conversation up again.
okay, before I lose Todd, then we get on the double ply. Because we're
God. I'm getting more coffee for this. Y'all killing me.
Todd is rolling through Walmart now, pointing at that security camera as soon as you come through that door. Let me tell you what started all this. Long story short, we was in a Walmart over in Mississippi. Dirt Rooster, he's in here, and he knows where Lucedale's at. But we was over there in Lucedale, and we had to stop at Walmart. And Hannah was shopping around the clearance deals or something, and I just kind of got like a 5-year-old and just started meandering around looking at different stuff. And Hannah had told me, you need to go get you a couple pairs of blue jeans if you can find some. I'm over there and I find me a couple pairs of blue jeans, and I get to noticing that this one dude is like watching me. Then I catch him with a cell phone down by his side. He kind of turned up at me, and I was like, I know what you're doing. You one of these security clowns in here thinking I'm up to no good. So I turned the tables on that cat. I kept on about my shopping, but every time he come around to one of those little, I guess, clothes hanger deals to try to watch me steal something, I would just get over there close by him. Just a few feet. Pick me up a pair of blue jeans, kind of hold them up over toward his way, this and that. Well, eventually I make my way back over to Hannah. And I turn around one time and dude is following me. So that just set it in stone. He thinks I'm up to no good. He's going to follow me around the store. So I told Hannah, I said, that old fella there, he's following us around thinking we're stealing. I said, so come on. So purposely, we just start walking around different parts of the store. I'm dragging this dude all around the store, not even looking at nothing. Up, back and forth. So every time I go in Walmart, I don't care what Walmart's it is. Every time I walk through that door, and it burns her tail alive. She's like, I don't know why you have to do this every time. But as soon as I walk through that door, and I see myself on that screen at Walmart's, I look up and I point. Oh yeah, I'm looking up and pointing at them, and I'll do I'm watching you, watching me. Mm-hmm. And it turns into usually, here comes a security person watching us. Darren wants to know if you'll taste hot honey. I mean, I'll try whatever y'all. Thank you said hot honey will be no problem after you try one of his peppers. Okay, that'll get me on through it. Yeah, you're right, Danae. He said Buttons needs one of those baby leashes with a retractable handle. It'd be hard to keep me at bay.
Walmart always follows me around because they know I carry. I walk in there, they see me, they follow me. So I don't even like shopping at Walmart.
Right. You want to let me see it. Come on. You're taking the whole
I hate going anywhere in town. That's just, and thankfully my wife, she ain't no shopper, and she's like me, let's go in and get what we got to get. Let's get out of here. Quit pointing at things. Quit touching stuff. They're just dying laughing at you watching me. Oh, yeah. Oh, girl, he'd be right there with Jasper. He'd chew that thing slapping too. You'd be trying to chew the leash off. I would get my knife in. Roy said, you are kind of shifty looking. Yeah. Well, I'll tell y'all this one then real quick. Hannah's Meemaw was in the hospital, and God love her, she wasn't doing well. And wintertime, I'll grow my beard sometimes about like what Ed's got going on right there. Mm-hmm. Well, but when mine grows out like that, I look like, how can I say this word without getting in trouble on YouTube? He looks like somebody from somewhere that likes to play with things that go boom. Yeah. An Arab nation. I'll just say that. Not the good guys. So I didn't specify any region. But anyway, here I go. Her grandma needed something, and so we bought her a box load of stuff, and Hannah's up there visiting with her. And Hannah asked me, she said, will you go to the truck and get me Mom's box and bring it up here to the hospital room? No problem. Here I go. I'm all bundled up. I got a black jacket on, got a hoodie on the back of it, and I got my beard grown out pretty good. But he had one on one of those black, like, beanie caps. Yeah, you're helping, DC. So, in my defense, I did look a little suspect if you didn't know me. All right. Way to be discreet, buddy. Yeah. Ahmed. Jeff way to be discreet and not get us red flag.
Now you look at me and see what I look like. All right. Someone asked me one time, what's your name? I said, I'm Ed, right? Oh, hi, Ahmed. I said, no, I am Ed.
I'm not Ahmed.
Oh, God.
I go to the truck, y'all. I get the box, and I come back into the hospital, and it's just me and this little old woman. She wasn't 5 foot tall. Well, I got to noticing that she just, while we're waiting on the elevator, she's kind of stepping further and further away from me. And I wasn't thinking nothing of it. Like, well, we're in a hospital, people are sick. Maybe she's just trying to, you know, not get me sick, something along those lines. Nothing was running in my head what she was fixing to tell me. So, ding, the elevator opens up, and lo and behold, it's just me and her that walk in here. And I got this box that nobody can see what's in it. And she looks at me and she goes, Mister, you ain't fixing to make this elevator go kaboom, are you?
But that ain't what she said. She asked if he had something in that box. And she was dead serious.
She sure was. She was scared to death. And I tried to reassure her. I said, ma'am, I said, no. I said, I'm just, my meemaw's up here kind of thing. Yeah. And she wasn't having that, bud. Whenever she got off on her floor, she was gone. And I come back and told Hannah about it. And I said, well, I've been, how's that of them old duck dudes say, facially profiled? True story.
Todd said your picture's hanging in the back rooms of all Walmarts.
You see this one here. Keep an eye on that one.
Oh, my word. This has been a show tonight.
Yeah, it's just been a good one. Okay.
Well, Philip's got a new life mission. He wants his picture in the backs of Walmarts.
Just walk through and point at that camera, bro. That's all you gotta do. Don't let up either. Walk all the way till you can't see yourself no more. Pointing at them.
Randy said you got the buttons, got them shifty eyes.
Little suspect.
Walmart's most wanted. That was it. Yeah, I know, Todd. Sometimes I think maybe we should go in different cars and park on opposite ends of the parking lot. Oh, my soul.
Welcome to my world, y'all.
Not claiming. Yeah.
I bet what she wants to do.
Did you tell him what Lance said about not claiming you?
No.
That was this week, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not since the last one. Look, we had to go to a friend's job. Oh no. Philip said we got us a movement. One of his best friends he grew up with come up behind me the other day at his shop talking about, tell me the truth, if you'd have had a warning, you wouldn't have married him, would you? Yeah, I'd have married him, Lance. Yep. He's my proof God has a sense of humor.
He said that one.
No. DC said that Hannah, God gave him to you. The next thing, yeah, God has a sense of humor.
Well,
Boy, you missed a kicker there.
well, we can go back to last week. We go back to scripture like I told the guy at the flea market about that $2. We're one
now.
Yeah, we're not two different people. We are one. So,
but there's times we think like two different people.
Oh yeah, because I'm often my
left field.
Yeah.
You got a lot to catch up on, Larry. I do wish you'd have been here for the serious discussion, though. You probably would have had some good input.
We did have good conversation on that. Now, brother, we get close to the end, so now we're on that downhill of, well, let's tell you about what happened in our day-to-day life of Walmarts and
the tragic slide.
Yeah, pretty well where we've been.
Yeah. Told DC earlier, I think we're flying face first down this slippery slope now, though.
You said that
Oh, y'all
earlier, wasn't it?
gonna get too?
Go ahead. Ed.
Oh, I was saying I think she said that to DC earlier. Sliding down that slope face first.
Yeah. We go.
We're happy.
We are happy.
Happy the whole way.
Oh, wait, Larimore, I thought he was in Texas.
Who?
Larimore.
No, he's up in Carolina.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I keep thinking he's in Texas.
No, that'll be their second storm this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all won't get in a bind over that, bro. The egg-shaped moon tonight.
I haven't been outside since it got dark.
No, it's cloud cover, so we won't be able to see it tonight around here. Good thing it ain't a full moon. Imagine where that conversation would went to.
We've been talking about werewolves, vampires, and wildebeest. I don't know.
What?
Big feet.
Big
The
feet,
elusive big
wildebeest.
feet.
You're out of time, but
We'll save that one for next week.
yeah.
Which most everybody knows my theory on the big feet.
They got big feet, that's for sure.
Well,
Okay, I give James what's up. Is that what he was saying was the egg-shaped moon? Because we can't see the moon tonight. James Noel said, look at the moon and tell me what you see.
yeah, you probably can't see ours right now. It's raining out here.
Yeah, we're overcast here as well.
And on the right lower corner.
Round the outside. Oh, start thinking about a rap song for a minute when you said around the outside. Eminem. Trailer Park Girls go around the outside.
Oh, yeah. Round the outside, round the outside. That's like, ain't no holler back, girl.
Why?
Our beans and bologna.
At least learn another line. That's
Well, y'all, I guess we'll wrap it up.
losing people left and right.
Oh, yeah, they done.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're done with us. We don't burn it out.
Yeah.
We held their attention with conspiracy and chemicals, so I think we did pretty good.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Ed. Yeah.
What? I missed it. I'll drain the comment. What'd you say, Ed?
I said, I think we did pretty good. We held them a long time with chemicals and conspiracies.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have a blessed week. Ones of you potentially dealing with that storm, we'll certainly keep y'all in the prayers. The Lord willing, y'all won't have to deal with nothing out of that mess. I know we're getting into peak season with hurricanes, but it's just that time of the year for all of us on the coast.
Spanky's threatening my life now.
Acid? What? Where is the THC and acid?
The subject for next week.
Lord,
What
I
kind of acid?
I don't know about that.
Well, tonight we're talking about LSD, three-way window pane, to see what kind of happens. Let's take a couple drops right now.
Chemicals.
Oh, sorry.
He's
on a roll today.
He must have got his belly good and full.
Yeah. Mr. JW just got back from home.
Was he followed?
I'm glad you made it back safe, Mr. JW. I don't know if you can hear me talking or not. Oh my gosh.
DC, that's not just lingo, it's past life, all right?
Oh, my soul. This has been fun, yeah.
That's hilarious, Mr. JW.
He said they let me go.
That's ain't good. So we're not after you. We after that bearded one down there.
Oh, man. Fun times, y'all.
But
You're right, Todd. Getting a bit dangerous. All
yeah, you gotta watch yourself.
right, we're really gonna let y'all go.
Yes,
But we do hope y'all have a good week and y'all stay safe.
that's it. Thank y'all everybody for riding it out. Ed, appreciate you, Captain.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, and
And we'll
Yeah,
see y'all.
I had to do something since I haven't been doing my live, so.
look, we always like having you on.
Come on. Doors open for everybody.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care. God bless you, Lord willing. We'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all
Good
take
night,
care.
everybody.